I don't give a shit. You tell me what restaurant we're meeting at. She'll put it on my schedule. She'll tell me when to leave, and I do it. My job is to solve problems and make money. That's it. What's up, Blue Collar Millionaires? Chris and I back again. We're going to talk about 8 things that every business owner should be doing to make more money. I'm going to give you one. I get so many DMs of overwhelmed guys. I was one. Chris was one.
We're great gunslingers. That's what made us great founders. But then that ends up really holding us back when we start to grow. They're sucking up the air of all the other performers. They're dropping the culture.
Everybody's heard work on the business, not in the business. And people give a million reasons why they can't. You can do it.
I used to be a developer of technicians. Now I'm a developer of leaders.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
What's up, Blue Collar Millionaires? Chris and I back again on our podcast. We're going to talk about, got it to 8 things that every business owner should be doing to make more money. I'm going to give you one. I get so many DMs of overwhelmed guys. I was one. Chris was one. And I didn't do this when I was overwhelmed. I should have. Or I say I did do it a little bit, but I just didn't do it correctly. This is a quick fix. And there's a ton of them because you can use worldwide talent. And this person doesn't have to be in your office in your town. So I like this as a quick fix. It's get an experienced executive assistant. So what do I mean by that? That doesn't mean your sister-in-law that's looking for work while the kids are in school and she's not experienced. It doesn't mean somebody, your wife, even her, right? Maybe she could do it, but you know what I mean? Like, don't put it on that. I want somebody who's already dealt with a crazy entrepreneur, help them build their business, and then they're going to take a lot of those systems and ideas and things that worked and come over and help me with them. And I want somebody that isn't task-oriented. Yes, I can send them tasks. Hey, I need these 3 things done, and I send that in the morning. But I want them to get the overall goal of what I'm trying to accomplish in 2026 and 2027, what my business looks like, and I do that by telling them all kinds of stuff. You might start talking to them more than your wife. This is the truth. You could be talking to them about everything. They're going to know you, how you move, what you like, what you don't like, what you're not going to get done, what you are going to get done, and you want them to fill in gaps in there. And you want to be offloading all kinds of tasks that I don't want to call them meaningless tasks or all that. It's not. We all have to get these things done. You want them to buy back your time. I think we were just talking about it on our elite call. Their job is to make you look good, to save you time so that you can produce more money, make more money, because if you make more money, they're going to make more money too. That's it.
Yeah. The reality is the right individual, this executive assistant, we focus on the opportunity at most entrepreneurs. We're focused on the opportunity. These executive assistants that have that really are able to do what you're talking about, they focus on checking the box off. So in the process of them saying, how do I check the box off of this to get this moved and out of the way so I can go to the next thing that needs to be done, they're also really good critical thinkers. So they're problem solvers. They're able to go in and say, okay, let me check this. They're good researchers, which is typically what we would be doing as entrepreneurs. We're great gunslingers, off our, our heels. We're able to jump off our heels very quickly. That's what made us great founders. But then that ends up really holding us back when we start to grow because we don't know how to delegate very well. But if you find that executive assistant that likes to check the box off and knows how to go in and research and problem solve and critical think, they will take those off your plate. And here's what from the elite call, Kevin, you said, it is weighing when you have to assign tasks. You have a new job when you have to figure out what task I'm going to hand off to them to complete today. And it does create a new level of stress on us. So that's why it's very important that you find that right personality type for this executive assistant.
And I love worldwide talent. I love people in the Philippines. I've done really well with them. There's tons of incredible ones. You could find them on Upwork.com or stuff. You can ask them a bunch of questions, let them but you got to get them on a Zoom. And one way you could do is you could line up a Zoom 1 o'clock, 1:15, 1:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock. You just bang them out back to back to back.
Yep.
And you'll have a flow with them. You'll know in 5 minutes, can I work with this person? Do I like? You might not know if it's permanent, but you'll know if you don't like them. And you're trying to get that down to maybe 2 people, and then maybe you give them both similar tasks for 20 hours and see what you like. It's just not that complicated. And if you have somebody who's already done it before, they're going to do very well with it.
So
It's
number
not.
10,
I don't even like the term executive assistant because it doesn't sound very like that good for the person. They're really an extension of you. They're like your right hand.
yeah, no, I like that right hand person. That's a great way to say it, 'cause that's what it is.
And one thing, back when I was young, I had a friend and he was working in selling stocks and stuff, white collar stuff, but he was making a ton of money. And I remember I used to call, and this is when you didn't have cell phones. I'd call him at work to, we were doing something that night, and I would always be like talking to his assistant. And then I think, this guy's so lazy, he can't talk to me, he can't get off phone. And he said, Kevin, I don't give a shit. You tell me what restaurant we're meeting at. She'll put it on my schedule. She'll tell me when to leave, and I do it. My job is to solve problems and make money. That's it. And I remember like it made sense. Like that is literally all he did all day. And she was doing everything else for him, like all the other stuff. But I'm sitting here running around, cutting lawns, doing everything else, working way harder, stressed out, and he was making 3 times as much as me. It's the truth. Got it. He was leveraging her no different than you're leveraging somebody cutting lawns with you. Maybe you're going to cut 80% more now because you have that second guy with you. That's what they do. So I just think, what can they do? They can do invoices for you. They can answer call. They can do personal stuff for you. They can build SOPs for you sometimes. They can go research stuff for you. You can give them all kinds of stuff. And if they're talking to you all the time and they're the person we say, they're going to figure out stuff ahead that you need. I won't give you a million examples, but they're just going to save you a lot of time if you get the right one.
All right, number 2, trim the fat. Probably the easiest place to find this is we've all got someone on staff, and probably more than one on staff, that's just an underperformer. And they're sucking up the air of all the other performers. They're dropping the culture. They're dropping the performance of the rest of your team. They're, aggravating the rest of the team. They're creating chaos. Because whether you realize it or not, when you're moving that customer from one side of the funnel to the back end of the funnel where they start to pay you for the job or service that you provided, the whole process builds on itself. So if you didn't get the pieces in on the front end because someone wasn't doing their job, it creates chaos on the back end for everybody else in line. So that's one big thing. Another thing is, when was the last time that you pulled up in your expenses on your P&L, and you actually looked at what was hitting your account every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, and annually, and really paid attention? Do I use this? Is this a wasted membership? Is this technology that I purchased that I don't even use anymore? Because it's real easy for these $100, $200, $300, $50 memberships to sit on, and over the course of the year, that stuff adds up. And if it's not being used, churn it off, get it off of your expense account, because that's money back in your pocket. And here's what will really make you aggravated when you think about it. When you think about your company with enterprise value, there's a multiplier on every dollar that stays inside of the bank account. So that profit, that true EBITDA net profit portion, it might have a 3 to 5 multiplier on it. So that $100, or let's put it more realistic, let's just say it was 100 times 12 months. So you got $1,200. That you put a 3x multiplier on top of that. You didn't spend $1,200. You spent $3,600 on something that you didn't even use. It magnifies the problem when you think of it in the enterprise.
Can't change it later. Because when they go through your books, they're not going to care about, I should have got rid of this or whatever. It's on there. So you're going to be fighting with them on it. Call it an add back. It's not. You got to trim that. Chris, what's number 3?
You need to identify your predictable marketing channels. I know inside a blue collar millionaire community, everybody's like number one marketing is referrals. And I would challenge, how predictable is that? Can you truly say I can count on this many all the time? And let me even change it up. Can you add more effort to increase it? Because to me, if it's predictable, then there is an input, so you get an output. So if I'm going to get more Facebook ads, I know I can put more ad dollars and I can put more ads inside of those Facebook ads. Same thing behind any other ad sources. If I was doing direct mailer, I'm sending out a bigger quantity to more neighborhoods, or I'm hitting them more often. So can you put in more input to be able to predict more output? That's what I mean by predictable marketing channels. And go deep, because you need to be able to identify one, then you need two, then you need three. And if you have three predictable marketing channels, then you're going to be above average on most businesses.
Absolutely. It's easier to put more money in something that's working. If you're really tracking it, you'll know, then go try to start something else. And I hate when people say I only work on referrals. They wear it like a badge of honor. I get that, but the more marketing you do, the more leads you create. If you're doing a good job, and we are, you're going to create more referrals. I mean, that's just so obvious. I'm not going to sit there and wait on that, though. I just
Now,
know I'm going to create more leads by, in my case, cold outbound, and that's going to bring more referrals too, because I'm going to get referrals from those too.
that's why I
You
love
have
the
to
door.
know it. Too many guys throw shit against the wall, see what sticks. They have no idea where leads are coming, so they can't really scale it. It's one of the, going back to the thing, when I go in DMs, I say, how are you getting your leads? One way you can do it is look at your last 20 jobs. What were the four best ones that were most profitable? You liked them. How did you get them? Get really granular. How did I get it? How did I reach them? Where did it come from? Go further into that.
Yeah. All right. Number four, you need to be offering financing to your customers. It's if you're a big ticket item, it's a no-brainer for sure. But even home service, whether it's home improvement, there's a lot of options. Home service, there's still options. So we as a society has been trained to purchase off of payments. I mean, you get on
Yeah.
Amazon, you can see it. When you go to a car lot on a big ticket item, they're not trying to sell you a full price vehicle. They're selling you on payments. Most of the time, if you got a good one, a good salesperson, they're qualifying you, saying, what type of payment are you looking for? They don't say, how much are you trying to spend on a vehicle? And if they do, you're probably going to say, monthly payment, not a total amount. So the same thing with a large ticket item on the home improvement side. But then even on your home service side of things, I know I've got it integrated inside of my CRM system that I use in WiseTech. Is it the most favorable percentage points? No, but it will finance on a smaller home service without trying to put a lien on something. So they give you consumer financing options. And these are great for those $1,000 plus tickets. And you can have an extremely small monthly payment in a decent amortization time period. But then on the big ticket items, I mean, I've got consumer financing companies for my roofs. They'll stretch it out 15 years. 10 years, I can sit there and say I'm about every $10,000, I'm sitting at about $150 a month on a 10-year term. So I just sit there and calculate that out, and I'll tell my customer, you want to use my money, our money, or your money? They might say, well, what does your money look like? And I say, well, let's take a look real quick and see what promotion you qualify for. And if they say, how much is this roof? Then I do it in the terms of monthly payments. Say, how much is this roof? I got a $20,000 roof to install in total. So I'm going to say this is about a $290, $325 monthly payment. And I give them a little bit of a range. And then I say, I can get you an exact, let me get a little information. And we move straight through the sale. Sell off of payments and big ticket items, and then have payments available for even the small tickets. And it costs you nothing typically to sign up. And then every once in a while it has a dealer fee, and just build that into your pricing. You'll be the only person probably in your market that's offering financing in that manner. A lot of them have it, they just never mention it. and it's a disservice to the customer. You don't need to determine, are they qualified for financing or not. Offer it to everyone.
Doesn't matter. It's a no-brainer. You never know. Somebody could be living in a huge house with nice cars and they want to do it, and somebody else doesn't look like that and they want to pay cash. Offer it. Costs you nothing. What's
Number
next?
five. Number five, always be recruiting. We were just talking about this, Kevin, on the elite call.
Yeah. You got to be digging the well constantly for employees. I'll speak on this because I did it. So when I was growing Gutter King, it was definitely a problem for me because I was growing so fast and I needed a lot of guys, and it was more seasonal. So it would be up and coming. And like, I would stress out because you might need another 30 guys. Like, that's coming. Most of you guys might not have that, but the quickest way to do it is always digging the well. So one thing I did was I never stopped. If I saw anybody in Home Depot at working hard, a waiter, good attitude, everything, I would talk to them, be really nice, and say something nice like, wow, you're killing it in here. You're working really hard. I hope they appreciate you. I would see what they said. Then I said, do you like it here? Sometimes most guys would say, not really, I'm not really getting paid. Then I'd say, hey, here's my number, or here, text me later. I might have an opportunity for you. I was digging the well all the time. I got a lot of people to do that. I had my employees doing it too by giving them incentives. If they bring somebody on, they stay 30 days, they get $500. It was 90, you get 1,000 or something like that. I forget what it was now. I change at different times. I had them bringing in people too. You have to do that, because I did the opposite thing for a while where I used to just go get warm bodies on Craigslist. That's the worst experience. If anybody's ever did that, they never work out. It's less than 1 in 10.
Yeah, hire off mindset, hire off personality. Brian Gottlieb's got this 4-quadrant thing that he shows, and down in the lower left, it shows low skill, low attitude. Right above that, it'll show high skill, high attitude, low skill. Down at the bottom, again, next to the first one, it shows low attitude or low skill, high attitude. So the whole point is all of the ones with poor attitude are culls. Those are the ones you get rid of. The ones that have the good attitude, you can always train up with the skill set, and you let the ones with good attitude and good skill set train up the ones with the good attitude. So there's only 2 out of the 4 quadrants that you're going to be keeping, and you have to identify what that labor pool looks like in your current staff. And that goes back to our number 2, trim the fat. And then you have to look at it when you're going through the interview process and the recruiting. When you bring in new energy, that energy is going to be infectious. And if you're bringing in the wrong energy, then it will spread. But when you bring in high energy and they're excited about the new job and they're excited about the opportunities, you got to fan the flame, and you got to sit there and build it and show it inside of your group chats in the company. And then this new energy will lift everyone else's energy up. I mean, it's like a reset. It's like when you go to bed and you wake back up the next day, your body has had time to rest and reset. Same thing happens when you bring in that new energy into your establishment. Just make sure it's the good energy and not one of these negative Nancy's that's just finding just enough not to get fired.
Yeah, and then you have to be a company that people want to work for. So you got to raise your level, and some people don't want to do that. You got to look in the mirror and say, do you have opportunities for these people in good places? You got to be always upping your leadership game and your benefits and whatever that is. But the last part you can do is, I think everybody should be doing this like at least every other month, is having some type of after work dinner. You come in, you bring in, gets catered by Chipotle or whatever. You have some drinks and everything. You have your employees there, and you tell them you got to bring 2 people. Bring 2 of your buddies. And they see there, and then they become your salesman. You can have a little presentation, talk about what your company offers and everything like that. It's like no pressure, but you do it after hours and stuff, and you can get texts and stuff from other companies. There's so many texts that are unhappy where they're at, they're looking for opportunity. If their buddy's over there and now they're at this thing, they're like, yeah, they're seeing themselves make the move.
Yep. All right. Number 6, simplify your systems. I read this book, talked about Apple and Steve Jobs. It's called Insanely Simple. And it was timely for me when I read it. But, Kevin, we were talking just a second ago, and it was like, take it down to an 8th grade level. Your systems should be looked at by you, the leader, and you should go in and make sure there's not a bunch of extra junk that doesn't matter, because as you're growing the company, it's very easy to say, oh, we need to do this, and it was on a one-off, but you implemented a rule on a one-off, and now that rule is a part of the junk that and hoops that have to be pushed through. And again, think of your whole business as a funnel. Got this big wide mouth on the marketing side of it, and it starts reducing down. And the more resistance that you put in there for your team, the less enjoyable their job is, and the more opportunity for mistakes to be made.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to make it simple. Too many people overcomplicate it, and they almost have an ego about it. Make it super simple.
Number 7, move your time to revenue producing activities. Kevin, you've done this extremely well, watching you with the gutter business that you sold and how you were able to delegate. So talk on this for a second.
Yeah, you have to really look at your time. One thing, there's a exercise you can do. Anybody can do this. Is say for 2 days, write down, have a little notebook or in your phone, write down what you're doing every 15 minutes. You might not want to do that, but you probably won't like the answer. You were doom scrolling, you were putting out a fire, you were looking at emails. How much of that time was really spent doing revenue producing things that really move the needle? You might not like it. And what I found is, while I was doing less than I thought of that, so I really got focused in on that. And that's really what I think about. I'm not really working now. I am for Blue Collar Millionaire. But even in that, Chris, I think about what's going to move our revenue up. What's going to grow this thing? Not what keeps me busy for 8 hours. If that means I'm going to do it for 2 hours in the morning and 90 minutes later, I'm going to be zeroed in on pushing these things forward. So you can do it even if you have to put out fires, but you have to really look at what you're spending your money, your time at. And then when you see all these other things, can you delegate those things? To me, that might be the number one thing to path to going from 1 million to 3 million or 3 million to 10 million. Really getting focused on where your energy spent. It has to be on growing the company. Everybody's heard work on the business, not in the business. And people give a million reasons why they can't. You can do it. You have to get out of those weeds. You have to start figuring out who can do that and get to making money.
I would challenge, and as you're sitting here talking about this, Kevin, it reminds me of our number 1 point of getting an executive assistant, a right-hand person. But I would challenge you finding someone inside, or you're hiring that right-hand person. And if they're not virtual, let them just shadow you for a week and give them 2 weeks. And the reason I say that is, an intelligent individual will sit there and be able to see things if you give them the opportunity and you ask them the right questions, like, tell me where I could be more efficient. Tell me what I'm spending most of my time on. And I say that because I've actually had my daughter interning with me for the summer. And so I often will lean over to her and ask her, what do you think a bottleneck is? What did you think about today? What did you learn? What do you feel like could be done better? And it's very surprising what someone else's viewpoint brings in and how challenging it is with the comments that come back. It really does challenge why you do what you do, and you'll realize how much time you waste and what you could be delegating off and what's important and what's not important. So we probably all have that person that we could bring in and say, hey, I want you to just follow me, sit with me for the week. I'm going to pay you. I mean, it's like, I think the money is so well spent. I don't know how you could lose in this situation unless you just had someone that had no independent thinking processes for themselves. Right. All right, number 8. brings us into coach your unqualified leaders.
Let's say that line you said.
Yeah, your unqualified leaders. Most of your leaders in your business right now are unqualified to perfect the systems that need to be perfected. And that's a problem. And this is a problem that is, I would bet 99.9% of your founder businesses have right now, because we don't go out and hire someone that's already done it. So we're literally all learning together in the organization of how to get it to the next level, which slows down the scale rate and creates a lot of bottlenecks. So you as a leader, and I had a business coach that said, hey, that your business is a money printing machine, is what she told me. And she said each department is a gear and it has teeth. And if one gear slows down, it slows all of the gears down because those teeth interlock. And when you think of your business as those gears in this money printing machine, you as the leader, as you fill these department heads that oversee these gears, you need to go in and you need to ask, what does your process look like? Show me what your process is. And you do that shadowing that we just mentioned about you getting shadowed on. You do the shadowing and you ask these questions, because what you'll come to realize is it's going to require collaboration between you and your leaders to get past that unqualified positioning that they're currently sitting in. Two heads are better than one, is what my dad used to say. So if you can come in and you can spend a few hours, half a day with them, and you can say, show me what your process looks like. I'm going to sit here and shadow, and you ask questions. Then what's going to happen is you'll start perfecting those systems. And then before you know it, there's a really good system that now they will look qualified because they're managing it. The unqualification is they really don't know how to build it because they've never built it before. And they're too busy doing the reactive things instead of being proactive. And most people, by majority in society, are not proactive individuals. It takes a lot of self-discipline to be proactive.
Absolutely.
So identify those unqualified leaders and start spending time with them. I'm not telling you go kick them out. You just got to spend some time with them and ask, what's the process look like? Show me how you do this.
Give them the support. Sometimes you got to say to yourself, your job is to make everybody else be the best version of themselves. If you were going to do that, you'd be talking to them a lot more.
Here's a transition I found myself in over the last several months, Kevin, is, I used to be a developer of technicians. Now I'm a developer of leaders. So now I'm focused on developing my leadership so that we can keep moving forward and scaling this business up to an exit. So those are the top 8 things. Quick recap: get you an executive assistant, trim the fat, identify your predictable marketing channels, have consumer financing available so your customers can afford your services. Always be recruiting. Simplify your systems to an 8th grade level. Move your time to revenue producing activities, and then start to coach your unqualified leadership so that they are qualified, sitting in more of a qualified positioning. That is your job as the leader of the company, is to develop leaders. And when you start spending your time developing these leaders, you will start to see how much faster the business grows and starts hitting the goals that you're setting for it.
Absolutely. Guys, you want to learn more about this stuff, talk about this stuff, go one-on-one with us, go to Boardroom Elite. BlueCollarMillionaire.net. Our group is Boardroom Elite. We meet every Thursday. We do 3 in-person events, weekends. Our next one's Chicago in July. You got to get around people who've done things, solved problems, worked through things, can help you if you want to get to the next level. See you next week.